soccer fans. It is the final show of February, and I honestly can't believe how fast it's gone. We hope you've got your cup filled with some tea, because tonight we're bringing you some awesome live coverage ahead of the final game of SheBelieves Cup, USA versus Iceland. My name is Megan Warner, and I'm joined with my co-hosts Katie Goodman and Harlie Ford. Hi guys.
How's it going? Good. How are you guys?
Oh, solid. Excited to be here. Ready to watch some soccer.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm doing extra awesome today, personally, after all the news that's been happening. I mean, it's a really great day for women's soccer, and I'm sure you guys have heard the news about the recent U.S. women's national team winning their equal pay lawsuit against the U.S. Soccer Federation. I mean, that's something that they've been trying to do since 2019. And it's just great that they've finally been able to come to an agreement, settling on $24 million. That's a lot. But
yeah, it's a good chunk of change.
Actually, right? But the thing is, the original ask was $66.7 million. So unfortunately, the U.S. women's national team did have to compromise quite a bit. And Megan Rapinoe was even quoted as, "There's no real," oh, there's a cat cameo.
So sorry.
It's not real. It's not really live if there's not a cat cameo.
Behind the scenes,
I love it.
I did confirm there would be frequent cat appearances. His name is TC, which stands for the cat. So
the cat, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, hopefully he makes an appearance again, because it's a cute little guy there.
Yeah.
But getting back on track, Megan Rapinoe is quoted saying, "There's no real justice in this other than this never happening again." So, I mean, either way, though, I do feel like it's a huge turnaround for the women's game in America. And from now on, all soccer players in the U.S. and both national teams are going to be paid equally and compensated equally. So I think that's a huge deal. They decided that they were going to give a $22 million lump sum, and they're going to leave that up to the District Court of U.S. Soccer and the Players Association to decide how to distribute those funds amongst the team, and then a remaining $2 million to be placed in a fund for the players to access after their career is over, with being able to benefit from up to $50,000. Within that fund, it also includes some nonprofit charity stuff. So stuff to help the girls' soccer programs in the United States also to continue to flourish. So those are all great things. But unfortunately, just breaking news, just 4 hours ago, U.S. women's national team former goalkeeper Hope Solo came out saying that you need to read the fine print. It's contingent on the collective bargaining agreement. It doesn't exist yet and is not guaranteed. So this money is contingent on the CBA, which the players have not been able to successfully negotiate in the past. So therein kind of lies a little bit of an issue. She thinks that them accepting these terms was a really easy way out, versus the equal pay case she had filed long before the lawsuit even went into place. So she continues by saying, "I remain committed to fighting for all players, past, present, and future." So, I'm hoping that this isn't a premature celebration, because I really want to believe we did the best we could. We fought the good fight and things are going to change from here. But she does bring up a point. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, Hope Solo's I think that was one of the downfalls, is how vocal she was about her dissatisfaction with the way that women's soccer is being run, among other things. Yeah. But
yep.
I do believe that it's important to take these things with a grain of salt. If you just accept things at face value, there are ways that you are avoiding the actual reality of what you're getting, which includes cats in your camera.
Yeah.
And between this and the CBA agreed upon by the NWSL, the tides are really turning for women's soccer in the United States. So that's really lovely. Yeah. But I mean, Megan, what did you think about that? Just thinking about, this is great news, but it's not entirely perfect.
Yeah, so I was reading up, and it sort of said that the CBA that they had was until December, and then they kind of extended that until March. So I kind of feel like it's a bit of a, let's just prolong this limbo phase, which is exactly what we don't want to happen.
Right.
to continue to put on that pressure. And I think, it's been really awesome seeing on social media how many people have posted about it. I've seen people who I didn't necessarily know followed women's soccer be like, oh, this is awesome, this is happening. So I think it's great that we're having these conversations, but we need to continue to put that pressure on and say, actually, we have read the fine print. Thanks for pointing it out, Hope Solo. And we're going to continue to fight for this battle.
Agreed. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of people who are giving this solid coverage too. I mean, every media outlet has given it coverage. People are dancing, screaming from the rooftops. It's obvious that the change needs to be made and that we're ready for it. I think that it's not unwise for Hope Solo to mention those things.
Yeah.
I think that it's okay to call it out, and it's okay to see if you can't, go a little bit harder, fight a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, it's going to only come down to all parties going into agreement, right? I think that's what we've realized throughout these past couple of years, all the back and forth. I think everybody's tired on both ends, including the legal system with this one. So but it to me, I'm going to take it as good news.
Yeah, absolutely. I would too. You only get so many wins ever so often, and you have to take them when you can. And this is a huge one. It is certainly a step in the right direction. And I don't foresee it becoming something where you're like taking steps away from it. They have like fully exposed themselves to pretty much every single person who follows the game. And then even as Megan said, like people who are not involved in the game, they understand that this is huge news, and you cannot turn around and somehow like shirk your promises that you've given to these athletes, otherwise, on top of everything else that's been going on in women's soccer lately, I don't want to deal with that storm. Oh my goodness.
Right. About time for some good news, long overdue, Yeah. And then
and
just
part
with
of that,
everything.
and part of that, it's like the pathway to becoming a professional athlete as like playing soccer as a woman, I think is becoming more realistic as well. It's not just, you're not going to have to juggle every single aspect of your life trying to be a full-time athlete and then also a full-time employee, and then maybe, you have your family, so you're a full-time mother. These are all things that characteristically we have talked about on the show as being parts of playing soccer as a woman. And right now, like, we are seeing advances to where the minimum salary requirements have increased to $35,000 per year for each player. And they now have access to health, disability, life insurance, and a fully vested 401k. So like, it's not, you're not left with empty hands after you leave the league. God forbid you have injuries or you have family requirements or anything extraneous happens to you. It's not, you're not facing a dead end, or trying to figure out how to make ends meet just because you're playing the sport that you love. So.
Right. I was kind of talking about it with someone the other day, and after hearing just all of these incredible things, it's beginning to sound like a corporate job. Like you have a 401k, you have health insurance now. Whoa, this is awesome. Like it takes a dream job to a whole new level when you can actually afford to do what you love and, and live not even comfortably. Like it's not exactly easy to live comfortably on $35,000, but it's great if that's the minimum.
Yeah,
And it is a start. It's a huge start. So, just good things all the way around. But from what I hear, Megan, there's great things happening in England too, right?
There is great things happening. We have won the inaugural Arnold Clark Cup, and I am so happy about it. It was a crazy game, honestly. I actually wasn't able to get a live stream, which I was really disappointed about. I don't know if anybody else had trouble being in Central America, North America, trying to get those streams over here. They kind of said it would be available, but it wasn't. However, I did watch the highlights after. Extended highlights that go above 10 minutes, it was a good game. And it was back and forth stuff. But we won. Millie Bright, centre back, turn striker, top goal scorer in this tournament. There's so many good things coming out of this club. So just to kind of give a little bit of a recap before we move into the preview of tonight's game in the SheBelieves Cup. So opening day was February 17th. Germany played Spain, 1-1 draw. England played Canada, 1-1 draw. Millie Bright got the goal in that game. So it was kind of like these 4 teams can compete. These are going to be close competitive games. They're not going to be big blowouts. This is going to be who can just edge past the other team, because on every level, it's evenly matched. Sunday was the next game day, and we saw England and Spain have a 0-0 draw. Canada beat Germany just by 1 goal, 1-0. And then in the earlier game today, Spain beat Canada 1-0, putting that pressure on. England had to go out and win if they wanted to take the cup, and they did exactly that. Ellen White scored a classic Ellen White goal early in the 15th minute. Oh, we've lost Katie. TC, are you willing to replace Katie?
Oh, he's coming up. Hold on. Let me get him. All right, TC.
There he is.
I need you to enter the conversation.
And
There's also a dog here.
everybody's getting hyped about the England win. That's
They're
what I'm
so excited.
so,
Like, yes, Millie Bright, thank you.
Ellen White kept out. Germany scored an amazing free kick. Got to give it to them. But then right down at the end of the game, Millie Bright scored the winning goal in the 84th minute. And then Fran Kirby sealed the deal, scoring an excellent individual goal. Started her run from inside our own half all the way up to score. And 3-1 victory. So very, very happy with that.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
This is what happens when we go live, guys.
You get to hear the dogs, you get to see the cats. We're trying our best here. I don't even listen. This dog, she can't even hear. She's like half blind and half deaf. Like this poor lady, she's 16. I don't know what she's yelling at. I'm just assuming, again, she just must love women's soccer.
Yeah, she's
As do I. Yeah. Oh, and welcome back, Katie.
I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys. Where did we leave off?
Well, Katie, you missed out on a screaming dog in another TC appearance, so welcome back.
Okay. Okay.
Just in from Jake Smookler, he said Paramount Plus was the way to go for the Arnold Clark Cup, and also the FA Player had the streams. So if anybody else was looking out for it, those are some places you can turn to next international tournament where you're looking for coverage.
Okay. All right. All
That's
good
awesome.
things to know. Paramount Plus
Thank you,
is
Jake.
pretty dang good. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, that's something that we have talked about before as well, is like how many hoops you have to jump through to watch women's soccer sometimes. It's
How
like,
many subscriptions are there?
Yeah.
it's insane.
The last US.
Oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
Katie, go ahead. No, you're good.
I was just gonna say the last U.S. women's game versus New Zealand. It was on ABC, but then it kept cutting out. Like it kept something was going on with their streaming because our internet was perfect where I was watching it, and so I don't know. Like it's like the one time they do get a debut on a nice, beautiful mainstream station. Of course, like things start cutting out and making it difficult to watch. It's just it's tough. But, that brings us to our game tonight. We have Iceland coming up here in just a few minutes. And they're sitting atop the tournament table. And so for them, they only need a tie or a win to take home the SheBelieves Cup. But the U.S. women's national team, they're going to need a win for this one in order to take that prized cup home with them. And, the U.S. has been really great so far. They've kept back-to-back clean sheets and have only allowed 1 goal on target the entire tournament. I think that's really great, and so it's going to be a really good game, and you can actually watch that this time on ESPN2 or Prende TV. And if you want to stream it, it's going to be on ESPN Plus, the Univision app, or Fubo TV.
Again, a lot of sources.
Yeah, a lot of places where we can watch this stuff, and what's really cool is they actually haven't played Iceland since 2015, and
I felt like
they've
been a while.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good game, I think. The stats said it's the 15th time the U.S. has played them. 15th time the U.S. has played them. They've taken 12 wins out of those 15. And so I think, but the last time that they played was a draw. And then just considering how things have gone so far, I think it's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah,
no doubt.
absolutely. Another like fun statistic that Katie let me know about is that the U.S. hasn't allowed one goal on our home soil in 2 years.
Wow.
So,
Right?
that's pretty incredible. We're looking at a potential for an upset on a hot streak there. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's true.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm always excited to see some good soccer. And also, it's supposed to be like miserably cold and rainy tonight, which, the best conditions. You're definitely going to be seeing some slide tackles. It's going to be amazing.
Oh,
Some interesting balls getting played in where the keeper's maybe mishandling it, or, you're not getting the clean touches that you expect. So, it could be a
right.
little bit different competition out there. So,
It's very true. I can definitely attest to the weather. It's freezing even in San Antonio. We're a little bit south of Dallas for those who aren't in the Texas area, but it is cold, really
yeah, I'm
cold.
so jealous. It's 80 degrees to get today. It was.
It was 80 yesterday here. It was 80 yesterday, and I was living for it. And then it got
Yeah.
cold
It's
again.
making me so sad. Today, the feels like was like -9. With wind chill. Like it was
That's a
horrible.
lot.
I was planning on running, and I was like, I don't think so. I told my professor, she was like, "Don't run. You will ruin your lungs." I was like, "Okay, I heard it here first. I won't be running now."
Yeah, that's all I had to say.
But
Don't want to ruin my lungs. Like,
But yeah, the weather is going to be an interesting factor in this game tonight.
Yeah.
The US have been kind of interesting this tournament with that draw with the Czech Republic, but then going on to score 5 goals against New Zealand. Although you kind of question that performance in a sense, was it really the best US attacking performance? Scoreline might suggest it was, but actually watching, I think there was areas that they could improve upon. All round in the performance, if I'm honest, I do think that the US didn't quite look as comfortable playing out of the back sometimes. The dangerous crosses were really, really good, though. That was something that I was loving, like, especially in this weather tonight. If, a deflection comes off, someone slips, like, whatever it is, like, gamble in this kind of weather. So,
yeah, it's all very.
very, very interesting game. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Iceland was the ones to break that home soil record.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. They've just done so well in the attack lately. They've got some really strong, high scoring people on their team. And so, when you think about that, you combine it with, this streak we have, plus all the weather. Oh man, it's gonna keep things interesting, no doubt. But
Yeah, it makes you
I
wonder. It makes you wonder, like, what the tactical plan is going into this game tonight.
Right,
What are they going to
right.
really be focusing on? Because, again, you do have to juggle these external factors that aren't necessarily part of your original game plan. So, making sure that you are defending as a unit, closing the space in front of you, not letting up easy touches, just,
Right.
A high press as much as you can. These are all
Right.
things that, I would try to be focusing on.
Come from playing in California as well.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
More factors. Oh boy.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. And you talk about defending as a unit, and that's something that the US has done so well. That's the one thing I did notice in the New Zealand game. While they dominated quite a bit, they didn't dominate the attacking third. They did great on defense. They did great with transition, but and their goals were their crosses were dangerous, which did result in some goals for them, those own goals, as we know, and we'll get into and talk about a little bit later after we interview Blair Curry around the halftime. We'll chat about a little bit about her, New Zealand, and her experience playing with the UWS. But getting back to the game, I think it's going to be great. They have some incredible players on their team. And so I think they're really going to present a challenge for us tonight. And so while Iceland is ranked 10th in UEFA, they have 15 players playing in top clubs around the world. One of the NWSL favorites who you might recognize is Gunny Johnstadir. I hope I am saying her name somewhat closely, accurately, but I gave my best phonetic try there. And she plays for the Orlando Pride. And then we also have Dagny Brynjastradatir, who has played with both Bayern Munich and the Portland Thorns, and she's currently playing for West Ham in England. She has 33 career international goals, and it's the most on the roster and the third most for her country ever. So she's one of those players in the attack that you're really gonna probably have to keep our eyes on and look out for.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Speaking of some of those players, let's meet the starting matchup here. We've got some really big names playing in that squad. You've got Kelly O'Hara wearing the captain armband for the United States. It'll be her third time wearing the captain armband, and I think she's up there with around 150 caps for the US now. But this team is pretty young. You know, we've kind of spoken about it a lot throughout the tournament that it isn't the usual US roster we're used to. There's some big names that we are expecting to see in US shirts, and they're not on the roster for this tournament, giving a chance for these young players to come in and prove themselves. So tonight, the starting lineup features 7 players under the age of 25, and it's the youngest starting lineup that the US has used in a match since April 2018. And it's the youngest starting 11 to ever compete for the US in the SheBelieves Cup. So personally, for me, I think that's exciting. I love when the young talent comes through. I love those young players who bring that tenacious, passionate play. It's almost kickoff, so I'm sure many people are starting to switch on over. But the starting lineups, they're competitive. I think these teams are evenly matched, and I think it's going to be a really awesome game.
Yeah, they all agree.
They also have Captain Becky Cyruburn, who made her 200th cap in this on the 17th against Czech Republic. She's the one outlier on that team who draws up the age, draws up the caps. But yeah, no, it is an incredibly young team. But what I find really interesting about Becky is that she has all of these caps as a defender. A lot of times when you see this high number of caps, that comes from center midfielders, like forwards, these people who we usually assign a lot of value to on the field, those key positions. So I think it's really cool that as a defender, she's been able to get her 200th cap in this friendly tournament. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a great game between who we've got on our team, who we're playing against. I love seeing these younger players get a chance. It really mixes things up. It really gives us an idea about the depth of our roster. So even when some of the OGs come back, you know, Megan Rapinoe, whoever, like it's good to know that we can still hold our own regardless. So I think this is it's going to be a good one. If I had to pick, I'm still going to pick the US as winners for this one just because of all the good news. We got to keep going with that good news. Like you got to win this one. Yeah. I think it's So
So again, you can go and watch this game now on ESPN2, Prende TV, or stream it on ESPN Plus, Univision app, or the Fubo TV app, which I currently have, and they're still playing college basketball on there, so I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
So
uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It's supposed to be the game right now. This is what we're talking about, people.
I don't know whether should we just keep going live until they turn it over, because I think we're all just looking at this basketball. This happened on Sunday too. I was like just sat there thinking, are we going to switch over? And then we switch over right in the middle of the national anthem. And I'm like, I'm not American, but I'm pretty sure that like you guys would not like that. You know, when you do the national anthem, everybody stops and everybody pays attention.
Right. And but on the bright side, that means that people are missing their pregame show, so maybe they'll watch our pregame show since it's still basketball. Maybe that's a silver lining. But that does suck for the people who put all the effort into their pregame show, like to not have that exposure even on the streaming apps. I'd be upset, no doubt.
I mean, mine's actually on ESPN too. So
really.
Yes, doing the pregame show.
Wow.
Listen.
That's messed up. Especially a final in a tournament for the women's national team who just made groundbreaking progress in equal pay. Come on, ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it here first and you hear it here always. Like, the hoops you have to jump through just to watch a damn women's soccer game in America. Tired of it.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I mean, ESPN, if you want us to do your pregame show, just let us know.
Sure.
We're
Yeah.
ready. And for people out there who want to watch.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And you can reach out to any of us, you know, at Harlie Ford on Twitter or at Our Cup of Tea Pod on Twitter. All that
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. You know, we don't even have underscores in the user handle anymore, so it's pretty easy to access.
Right. Just join the combo. Let us know what you think, and we'll spit it right back at you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, guys,
Well,
I think maybe we will reconvene later on. I think that we
Yeah.
gave a pretty good coverage of what people are going to be expecting in this game. We'll see if our predictions come true regarding the weather and seeing what the U.S. does to, you know, counteract the onslaught of the Icelandic national team. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in for our pregame chat.
Yeah, enjoy the game.
Yeah, you too. We'll be on around 9 p.m. right after the second half. So be sure to join us, spread the word, and we'll see you soon. Toodles.